welcome to Homecoming 2021, a Impact show that surprisingly was good. And that's going to be the title. Surprisingly good. I decided when was going to do Homecoming, I thought, well, I'm going to get into a nice, comfortable shirt. This is one of my most favorite shirts. It's comfortable. I thought I was just going to sit back and probably see a not very well done show. Or at least somewhere, maybe. I mean, this is dead. This is mediocre. This is damn good. You know where this fits? Here. It actually is way better than I expected it to be. This show was built well. Yeah, there was a few problems. The one major problem I had was with one match. But in general, we had good lighting. We had good audio because the commentators would easily be heard. Maybe the sound was a little higher than it was at first, but they pulled it back a little bit. The most important thing, fans. If you looked at the last 2 weeks of Impact that have been recorded, they suck because the fans there are dead. They barely cheer. They keep their hands under their legs. They make no noise. This show was loud. Yes, there wasn't that many people in there. Of course, it's like 200 people maybe to 150. I don't know. But the fans were loud enough that truly made the experience so good that anything else that was an issue like camera angles or, like I said, one match had a problem with camera angles, and I'll explain in a few minutes. It was negated. This was surprisingly a good show. It was fun and it was funny, but also certain parts were serious. And a match that I didn't really feel very interested in, by the end of it, was not bad. So, let's get into the Homecoming King and Queen tournament. You got a mixed tag. It's with guys and girls, and both sets can attack one another. So a guy can go after a girl, a girl can go after a guy. You got it. The opening. Tommy Swinger escorting. Escorting. I botched that so bad. He was escorting the Hernandez and Alicia with, here is something I was surprised. Now, there had been a lot of talks of who it could be. It could have been McLean. That's what a lot of people thought. I thought that myself. There was a couple, I think one person said that Aiden English was going to show up. And I said, really? Is it true? And then I didn't hear anything else. They said it once. That it's possible that Aiden English was the one that was coming. Or Aiden English was Dana Purrazzo's boyfriend. Now, of course, I know that Vicky Guerrero's daughter, what is her name again? Solo, I believe that's her name. Solo Guerrero is married to what is the guy's name? Matthew Wallach. I think that's his name. I'll have to learn his name, his new name. He's in my face. I was pleasantly surprised to see him there, and now he's a part of Impact. We haven't seen him in quite a while. He was doing commentary at one time on NXT. He was. Then they put him on Superstars, and then he was gone. Now, he's on Impact Wrestling, and he's working with Dana Purrazzo. He is the drama king with the Virtuosa. You got the Virtuosa, I don't even know what to call them, the dramatic virtuoso kingdom. There you go. That might be the best way to do it. You already know who won. I'm just saying. That's what it could be called. The Virtuoso or the Virtuoso Kingdom, which sounds pretty good. I was surprised to see him there. Now, was this a good match? It wasn't bad. Let's say that this is the weakest match of all of the matches. The weakest. It wasn't that I wasn't interested. I wanted to see how Matthew was doing. And he wrestled very well. He went with the older gimmick that he had with the Varsity Villains. If anybody remembers, if even anybody remembers the varsity villains from NXT. If you remember them, then you got a good-ass memory because he acted like he was as a varsity villain. He didn't act like Rusev Day. He acted like he did when he was there and I was singing. Like that. The match, I didn't expect Hernandez and Alicia to win. I didn't. So, let's move on. We know they won. Now, the next match. The Pump family of Big Mama Pump and Maple Leaf Muscle go up against, I didn't expect this to end any other way than Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green winning. As much as I want to see the Maple Leaf Muscle be a staple, you guys know how I feel. You know that Petey Williams should just stay Maple Leaf Muscle. He's a lot more fun when he acts like he's Make Believe Muscle and he's arrogant. He's a lot more fun to watch. But we didn't get that. Now, the key of this entire thing was what happened with McLean. McLean came out after the match was over and it was Petey who had the job. I don't believe it was, no, who was it? Who jobbed? No, it was Jordan Grace. She jobbed, and she did a really good job. This woman supposedly got some championships, or some, I think she was doing some weightlifting in the last couple of months, and she won a couple of championships. Hey, I knew this woman. This is the woman that should have been pushed last year instead of the... I don't hate Tessa. She's done what she's done. I don't agree with it. But if you really wanted to see a woman who had the physical strength to do anything, it's Jordan Grace. But she did lose. But then, I think it was her who lost. But it was Maple Leaf Muscle who got his ass whooped by McLean. And he made it very clear after the match. I think at least the next match after that. He said, you know what? You want to know the reason why I did it? Why not? I've been waiting. And Petey, you bothering me on BTI? This is what you get. So now we're going to have a feud between him and Petey Williams. I don't know how well it's going to be, but this is what we got. Now, we had another surprise and another new person joining the Impact roster. We had Rachel Ellering and Tommy versus Brian Myers with... When I saw Sam say, I got you a partner. I got you somebody. I didn't know who was going to be. I thought maybe it might be McGillicuddy. It might have been the one who was seeing Francesca. I forgot her name. But I didn't expect it to be a very... I remember her. That's Missy. I can't believe that she's in my face. I never could remember her last name, even when I saw her before. She's in my face, and now I'm shocked that she's come to Impact Wrestling. She worked in WCCW, she worked in ECW, she worked in WCW, I believe. Did she work in WCW? Yeah. I'm shocked she's there now. And she could be a manager for a Brian Myers and a Sam. But they made her try and wrestle. You see in my face. Why? Why did they make her wrestle? She was in street clothes in stiletto heels this high, 6-inch stiletto heels. Look, the woman is 58 years old. She's older than I am. She's still got a nice, for her age, her boobs look still good. Her face isn't half bad. Yeah, she never had a butt. Let's be honest. Missy never had an ass. But she still was sexy. She was a good-looking woman. She had this, but like that. Instead of like this and like this. She was like this. Because she never really had hips. So, you know who lost. And then there was an argument afterward where Brian tried to blame her. And he was told off. Look, I am not a wrestler. If you knew my history, my accolades, you know I've never wrestled. But I have basically taken care of the Road Warriors. I've taken care of the Sting. I've taken care of the most prominent people. And the one thing you don't got? Nothing. I forgot what she said, but essentially she said, you don't got it. But Sam wanted to blame her as well, but she started playing a little bit with Sam, trying to say, oh, you're cute without curly hair. Look at me, I just washed my hair. I got, your curly hair looks so cute. Why don't you take those glasses off so I can take a look at you? And she said, you know what, because you're so cute, why don't you pucker up and close those eyes and I'll give you something. And then in my face, she whacked him in the face with her purse. That's what Sam gets. You don't piss off a lady. You don't piss off a lady who's got curves like that, even at her age. I'm sorry. You don't. Now let's move on. We had a match of Rick Swan. No. I think the reason I bring in Rick Swan first is because he felt more prominent than Willie Mack dealing with Diener. Now, mind you, I love me Chocolate Thunder. I love me Willie Mack. But it felt like they really need to focus on Rick Swan more for some reason. I don't know what it was. They showed him a couple of times, and he was basing the background, but it felt like he shouldn't have been. I don't know what it was when it came to Violence by Design and dealing with Willie and Rich. It felt like Rich should have been more prominent. Now, was the match bad? No. I liked the match. And you could see how good Diener is. He's a very good wrestler. But then you think of Willie. If Willie went to the WWE, they would bury his ass. So bad. A guy of his age and his shape, able to flip and do kip-ups, is unheard of in the WWE. And particularly with Bray Wyatt. And I am going to do a Gump report on Bray. I will. It should come out this Monday. Or I think I'll do it this Monday. I'm not sure. Because I already got one video filmed already. So this one, you may see it either Thursday or Wednesday. Because what I'm going to be doing will be about Kira Hogan. I already filmed that one. And that will be on Monday. And maybe you'll get the Bray Wyatt by maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to make another video. If I do that one, that's all I'm going to do for the entire week. But it felt like Rick Swan should have been more prominent. In the end, Diener won because they saved him. I had this feeling while the match was going on, the way that Eric Young was holding the flag, that flag was going to be used. Because the way, it was like he was waiting. He was pacing back and forth, waiting to use the flag. That's how it felt. And then eventually the flag was used, and Diener used a special move and ended the match, and that was it. Done. Now, am I upset about that? No, because it really doesn't give us anything. We really don't have anything substantial yet between Violence by Design and Willie Mack, as well as Rick Swan. Now, it would be interesting if they bring in another person to join Rick Swan and Willie Mack. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, Dana Purrazzo and should I rush this? You know what? I'm going to do this one. Decay of Rosemary and Steve versus Falaba and Tasha Steelz. Now, this was the most fun of any match that was done for the tournament. Literally, this match was the most fun because when it came down to it, it was the funniest match because people were screaming. They were screaming for Falaba. Screaming for him. That's how excited they were. The only other match that was just as good as that one would be the Tommy, Rachel, as well as Rosemary and Steve. But this, I felt, was the strongest and loudest out of those two matches. Honestly, they were loud. And at one point, you got Falaba not wanting to do anything to Rosemary. He didn't want to do anything until she went, smacked him in the face. And he goes, oh, you did not. And then he finally decided to do something. The only thing he didn't do was squash her. That would have been good. Getting bit. This was the part that made my ass laugh so damn loud. Once Steve bit Falaba in the forehead, everyone said, tastes like ba. Oh my gosh. Once they started chanting, tastes like ba, that was the most funniest thing of the entire show. There were a couple other ones, but that was the funniest. Honestly, that was damn funny. In the end, I didn't expect Tasha and Falaba to win, but I kind of hoped they would. I won't lie. Because since Kira's not there, Kira could still... No, not sorry, Kira. Since Kira's not there, Tasha could easily do something with Falaba. Because they had ba and flavor. Flavored ba. Or Fala and flavor. I think it was Fala and flavor. Yes, Fala and flavor. They could have done something with that. And they may still do this Tuesday, having them still work together. I don't know. But I would have thought they would team them together so they would keep something with Tasha still going. But this is what we got. Now, we got Dana Perazzo and the drama king of Matthew Rewalt. I think Rewalt. Versus Cherry. I want to get that last name right. I'll have to call him in English until I figure that name if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm not pronouncing correctly. But once we get in Chelsea Green and her man, I didn't expect them to win. I admit, I was a little torn at one point because it really did look like Matt and Chelsea were going to win. It really did look like it halfway through the match. But I'm thinking, wait a minute. They just brought him in. This is the second match. Could Aiden English actually make it all the way with Dana Perazzo? It made the most sense to actually do it because it's brand new. They want to keep making Dana win everything. But I wasn't sure. But by the end of it, I knew there was no way they were going to win. And I was right. Now, am I upset about that? No. I would have been surprised if they continued because I didn't think that Dana Perazzo would job. Not in this situation. So it was okay. Next was Crazy Steve and maybe I should do the Josh Alexander first. Okay. Josh Alexander and Black Tairu for the X Division title. This was one of the only two serious matches on the show. One of the two. And when it came down to it, it was a good match. It was. I could actually believe Dark Tairu to win this. Now, I was hoping on iMpact on Thursday that they would give Josh Alexander a more competent or a more difficult opponent. But seeing Black Tairu was not a bad thing. I was all right with it, but I just felt like they should give him some more credible people going into Bound for Glory because, as I said before, he could be the person that could go up against Kenny Omega through option C. Either him or Moose using the X Division title. I know at least two of my subscribers were not too fond of hearing like using the X Division to be able to do something with Kenny, but let's be honest here. Sammy's already been beaten. Rick Swan has already been beaten. Moose has already been beaten. Sami Callihan has already been beaten. Who else do you have except Josh Alexander? Or let Moose go after the X Division title, which one of my subscribers forgot that Lashley had it, and Samoa Joe had it, and the Abyss had it. I didn't say Abyss, but pretty much big guys have had the X Division title too. Yes, it's been a cruiserweight title for many years, but it doesn't mean they won't let big guys have it. So seeing Moose have the X Division title would make sense. But if it's not going to be Moose, it's not going to be Sami Callihan, it's not going to be Rick Swan again going after Kenny Omega, why not Josh Alexander? He could drop the title and then go for the main title at Bound for Glory if they pull the trigger on it. The match was good. It was. And I will say this, if they do it again, I'm hoping it will have some type of stipulation. I'm hoping they won't just let them do it again. But this is just me, guys. Tell me below. The final match, if I'm forgetting anything, am I forgetting anything? No. I think that's it. Is it? Oh, the second best match. That is Rosemary and Steve versus Tommy and Rachel Ellering. That was the second most funniest match. Now, the face paint that Tommy's been wearing is to honor Animal. Unfortunately, he passed away. But supposedly, he's been trying to get money for the family. He's been trying to do funds for the family. And that's really a good cause to see. So I'm hoping that he has been making some money. I believe he's been doing a fund for the Animal's family. I do believe he's doing it. If I'm wrong, guys, tell me below. But this was the funniest show, the second funniest show of the Impact Plus show. Because at one point, everyone is screaming, bite the ear off, or bite the head, or bite whatever. So, Rosemary, I think it was Rosemary who bit first. Then, no, it was Steve who bit first. Then Rosemary bit. Then Steve bit again. Then you got Tommy biting Steve, or biting Rosemary. And then you got Rachel Ellering biting Crazy Steve. All four of them started biting one another, and everyone was cheering their damn head off like they were nuts. It was damn stupid and made my ass laugh. I just started to laugh, and I realized that this was a funny show. That's what this is. This was not serious. There were no main storylines. This was not even... Let's be honest here. They wanted to make this important. And when it came down to it, Rosemary and Steve won. And I will talk about Dana Purrazzo and Aiden English in a moment. But let's make this very clear. This was not about a very serious tournament. Yes, they will try and build something off of this, but most of this was made to be funny. This was made to be funny, and I know not everyone's going to like it, but it was a funny show. Now, we get Rosemary and Steve versus Dana Purrazzo and Matthew. I'm just going to go there. It wasn't a bad match. It was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And in the end, I really thought, they're in my face. Do believe I got it. I truly thought that Rosemary and Steve were going to win. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think Dana Purrazzo and Matthew were going to win at first. Didn't. I thought it was going to be Rosemary and Steve, and then Dana Purrazzo and Matthew were not. But by the end of it, I'm thinking, there's just no way they're going to let them lose. There's something... Would they really let him win something on his first debut in Impact? And they decided to do that with Dana Purrazzo. He is not a drama king. She is a virtuoso queen. And maybe the virtuoso kingdom, maybe there you go. The virtuoso kingdom now exists. You're welcome because of the bow they did. Was this a good tournament? It was more of a fun tournament than a serious tournament. Let's be honest. This is like Impact Wrestling. This is like Impact Wrestling messing with the WWE. On their, let's be honest, you know what they're going to do. They're going to do their tournament to try and crown their first queen of the ring. That's what this is. It's kind of a parody of it. They tried to make it fun, but they also tried to make it serious. And maybe they will get a bit of mileage out of those crowns in a couple of months or a week. It counts how far they go with it. But this was a parody of the Queen of the Ring. That's what this is. Nothing about the King of the Ring. They made their parody. That's what this is about. Finally, the last match of the night. The hardcore match of Morrissey versus Eddie Edwards. And I'm not going to lie, I was not looking forward to this match. I really didn't think... Now, mind you, I might not have been forward. I got to back up a little bit. I wasn't looking forward to it because I didn't really feel like it was important to do that with Eddie and Morrissey. They already had the street fight. But I did believe the structure of the entire show was done correctly. They had the tournaments. They had the X Division. They had that single match with Willie as well as for Diener. And they had the closing with the hardcore match. If they had done the hardcore match second to last, that would have messed it all up. So seeing that they did the final match of the tournament, then the hardcore match was the wisest thing to do. Now, was this a good hardcore match? At first, no. No, it wasn't really that good. I don't think Morrissey has ever done a hardcore match. So he felt like he was inexperienced. He didn't really know what he was doing at first. He was really trying to understand what to do. And it was Eddie who was leading it. But by the middle, near the end, it got much better and the people really got into it. They did. At one point when Morrissey kicked Eddie, he did a boot to the face to Eddie. And he went flying off the apron and landed through the table. They saw, like I saw, that Eddie whacked his head on the guardrail. He did. He whacked his head. Hopefully he didn't get a concussion or anything. Because after that, Morrissey couldn't even lift him up. He looked concussed almost, or he was loopy. The way he hit that guardrail, he was just messed up for a while. And they had to drag it out a little bit. But eventually, Eddie did seem to get his bearing back. By the time it was all over, Eddie got put through, well, he didn't even get put through the ladder. The ladder just sprung back. A lot of ladders usually just break under the force of it. Eddie's ladder didn't break. So that made it even worse for people to worry about him. But in the end, Eddie did win. He did win it. Morrissey was knocked out by a Boston knee party with a chain wrapped around his knee. So hopefully he's okay. Now, would I recommend you watching this show? Yes. With the understanding, and I want to make this perfectly clear. With the understanding that this is not a serious tournament. Most of it was for fun. This felt like a parody of what the WWE is going to do with the Queen of the Ring tournament. Because let's be honest, they really got nothing going on with the Queen of the Ring. They're going to use only SmackDown and Raw wrestlers. And even though I love me my Naomi, I do. I love Naomi. I adore Naomi. Yeah. What is her name? Storm is on there. I forgot her first name. It's been a while since I actually seen Toni Storm. I love me Toni Storm. That I know most people say, oh, those thick ass legs. It's fine. Yeah, she got thick legs, but once you get past how thick her body is, you got to care about the person. I don't know if she's a very sweet person. They say she's nice. Hopefully she's sweet. But those are two people I really like. But I don't expect anything good coming from the Queen of the Ring. Nothing. Now, this is a parody of something they're going to do, but at least it's a fun parody. It was. I didn't expect it to be fun. I expected this to be maybe okay to mediocre, but this was actually fun. So I would recommend you consider it. And this is just my point of view. I hope you enjoyed the same view. Please give me a comment below. And you will be seeing my Kiera Hogan video probably Monday. Peace.